Minecraft has a ton of items, but amongst them, a few items are a bit more controversial than the rest. So let's begin by traveling back to Minecraft 1.8, the Bountiful update. This update added numerous features that we just take for granted today, such as slime blocks, ocean monuments, and rabbits, just to name a few. But I'd like to focus on combat. People who play on servers like Hypixel will know this, but combat in pre-1.9 versions is completely different than it is nowadays, mostly composed of spam clicking amongst other aspects. Swords, bows, and fishing rods were the primary weapons in PvP, and swords would block attacks by right-clicking, similar to what a shield does in post 1.9 combat. However, there is one key difference. Blocking only removed half the damage and half the knockback. With a thriving 1.7 and 1.8 PvP community, many Minecraft players were pretty unhappy when 1.9, the combat update, was released, which completely revamped the entire combat system. Attacks now had to be timed, axes became a viable combat option, and shields were added. This new combat system was just so foreign and so much slower paced than the 1.8 combat that many PvP-oriented servers and players would stick to older versions even till today. The shield in particular became a huge controversy. They could often be used to deflect 100% of attack damage unless disabled by an axe. This meant that players could simply right-click to avoid all the damage of a creeper explosion or survive against a swarm of mobs. This new mechanic was completely foreign to seasoned Minecraft players, causing many players to open up about their dislike about the changes. Despite this, the shield has not been changed since its original introduction back in update 1.9. And that brings us to our next item. Along with the shield being added in the 1.9 update, the mending book was also introduced. It completely removed the need to create new tools and armor, and to really keep collecting valuable resources like diamonds once late game has been entered. Although it partially reduced the grinding aspect of the game for new equipment, which could be seen as a positive, the addition of the mending book just seemed to remove an aspect of difficulty and survival from the game. When loading up a world, it doesn't even take too long to get the enchantment, since there are so many ways to acquire it through fishing, trading, or looting. So overall, the mending enchantment can be extremely useful, but at the same time, some people could argue that it's overpowered or can be acquired too easily. Now, let's take a break from these older items and look at something new, the netherite smithing template, added in 1.20. Mojang intended to make netherite harder to obtain, and to make diamond gear more relevant in playthroughs of the game. On a larger scale, I believe that this was done to fix some of the balancing issues of the game, where overpowered gear could be acquired too early. So with the update released, the new netherite crafting system more or less achieved what it set out to do, but not with a perfect execution. So you have to find these templates in bastions, which can be frustrating and adds a level of complexity to a feature that used to just work on its own. Not to mention, it takes a ridiculous amount of diamonds to duplicate these templates, meaning more hours of grinding. Rather than making the experience of getting netherite more fun or rewarding, they just made the process take longer and therefore be more tedious, which is not a positive. I feel like the whole netherite change represents how Mojang struggles at times to add balanced items from the start, and how they are beginning to take the approach of nerfing older items to compensate for this. So it's good that Mojang got what they wanted out of this change, but not without breaking a process that so many people were used to. Let's now move on to the Totem of Undying, one of the most controversial items on this list. When version 1.11, the exploration update, was released in November 2016, the Totem of Undying was a standout feature and was game-changing. I mean, they literally allowed you to avoid death. Like, here's me falling from world height all the way to bedrock. You just can't die with it. And that's a problem in Minecraft Hardcore. In this mode, you can't respawn, but totems basically act as an extra life. Some players have also been frustrated by its impact on multiplayer settings, making fights much longer and making PvP slower paced than before. But we should be looking at the positives as well. It's a valuable item that can be rewarding to acquire after killing off a raid or surviving the Woodland Mansion. It's also a really unique item. Minecraft's known for making items that are pretty similar, but no other items really compare to the Totem of Undying. And with that, here's the final item on the list, the elytra, which is one of the most powerful items in the game, allowing players to fly at crazy speeds. But it isn't often that we think of how it literally allows players to fly in survival mode faster than you can even in creative, or fly right over lava lakes in the nether, avoiding all the dangers that come with the dimension. Or the fact that it has made modes of transportation like minecarts and horses almost irrelevant in Minecraft survival worlds. Looking back, it was fun building huge minecart systems or exploring the world by foot, but a lot has changed. Nowadays, you don't see people building minecart systems in their worlds or finding the fastest horse obtainable. The elytra almost seems to take a little bit of Minecraft's charm away. Well, there you go. If you're still watching, thank you so much. Let me know what you think of all these in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Please subscribe.